A lot of parents think that if you are more emotional with your kids, that the relationship is going to be closer. But this isn't exactly the case. Today we're looking at the difference between absent parents and overly emotional parents, where we fit as parents on that scale, and how to fix any problems we may have. No fluff, let's get straight into it. The first thing we're going to look at, we're going to draw it out, we're going to look at a sliding scale. Now, on one side over here, we have the absent parent. And on the other side over here, we have the overly emotional parent. Now, a lot of people think that there is no scale. They think that in the middle here, there's nothing. There's only either very emotional or very absent. But I'm here today to say no, that is not the case. Actually, we all lie somewhere on this scale. We are all prone to one thing or another, usually as a reaction to what our parents did when we were kids. So today we're going to look at exactly what an absent parent will do, exactly what an emotional parent will do, where we are on the scale, and how to fix it. Let's start with the absent parent. Absent parents. For the absent parent, we have a few things to go in our box. These are things like they work too much. They never seem to be home. They don't talk to their kids. They're always stressed. They miss important events. And they never really seem to be present. Even when they're there, they're not really there. Okay, so we may have some of them. We may have all of them. Let's see where we sit. Now, these things are quite common in modern society. Nowadays, we usually have two people working. Everyone's very busy, very stressed, very tired. I find the absent parent to be the most common type of parent at the moment. Now, let's look at what the other type of parent is. Get rid of this one. We have our emotional parent. Now, obviously, we all have emotions. I'm not saying we shouldn't have emotions. This is an overly emotional parent, one that relies on emotions more than other things to do their parenting. So these parents treat their kids like fellow adults, especially when they're younger. This is a big problem. Lets the children make the decisions that they shouldn't. These parents don't have authority. They create uncertainty in their home. They don't have clear boundaries, and they feel helpless when problems arise. This type of parent, they're not as common, I don't think, but they're becoming more and more common with the rise of social media pushing this type. And some people call it gentle parenting, some people call it permissive parenting. There's a few different names floating around. We need to do a video on that another time, but for the sake of this video, I'll say it's overly emotional parents. They rely more on their emotions for how they deal with their kids and how they run their home. Now, for us as parents, we should be, let's scroll back up here, we should be aiming for somewhere in the middle. We can just be right in the middle, right here. We can be in that prime center position where we're able to see both sides, take what's good from one side, leave the bad stuff, take what's good from the other side and leave that bad stuff, and just have that middle place where we are balanced. That's what this whole channel is about, is creating balance as parents. Having calm authority. It's not one, it's not the other. We're aiming for the middle. Now let's look first at the busy parent. Most of the problems that arise from a busy parent is all from one thing, and it's that they don't see their kids. And children deserve to have a parent who sees them. They deserve to have a parent who cares for them in more ways than just supplying them with the money they need. Okay, that is a given. But our job as parents is much more than just, here's the food, here's the clothes, although that is very good. A more important thing, I would say, is to be a parent to the children. This is more significant. I've seen kids that are very poor, Very poor families, but those parents parent their kids, and those kids do really well in life. It's because the monetary things, even though they're good, they're not the most important thing. A parent's job is to parent the kids, is to teach them, to train them. If you're a busy parent, imagine what life would be like if you had an extra 1 to 2 hours with them every day. What if you weren't so stressed? What if you didn't work so much? What if you spent a lot of time with your kids, playing with them, having fun, playing board games, watching a show together? It would really change not only your life, but their life as well. You wouldn't be so stressed. Your family would be a lot more peaceful. Now, this is a hard pill to swallow. I know a lot of us really like to work hard, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when work gets in the way of your own family, then we've got a big problem. Let's look at parenting, okay? How much effort does it take to be a parent? If our day is this long, okay? Depending on the person, work takes up this much time, okay? But to be a decent parent, this is not enough. I would say to be a decent parent, it's something more like here. Obviously, you're not spending 24/7 with your kids, but this would be more accurate to being a good parent than this. And in any rate, you trying to be a parent in this tiny little area over here, you're not doing a good as job as you could, right? You're definitely going to be a better parent with more time. Absolutely. We get good at what we do most as well, so you're practicing. Sometimes we may need to look at this and see what we can take out. As a busy parent myself, this is the thing I struggle with, and this is really difficult. Sometimes we get so fixated on this here, we miss the opportunity. We miss how special this is and how important this is and what a difference it would make to our kids if we actually just spent the time with them. So for me on the scale, I tend toward the busy parent, for sure. So what is the solution for the busy parent? We need to look at our life and we need to say, okay, where can I take away other things that are in the way of me parenting my kids? Just sit down with a pen and paper. Write out how many hours you're spending on work, how many hours you're spending on this, that, whatever else. Look at how much time you're investing into your children. Are you really giving them your heart? Are you really spending the time with them and helping them to become the person they are destined to be? This is super important, and for all the busy parents out there, please get your paper, write down a list, and really decide, are we giving the best to our kids? For emotional parents, usually the problem is that they had a bad upbringing. Their parents were like overbearing, and they were not using kind authority at all. They were very harsh and sometimes violent, and it's understandable that these parents don't want to be harsh with their children. And I'm not saying that we need to be harsh, but we need to have authority in order to train them properly. Now, the irony is that when we are an emotional parent, we don't set boundaries, which makes our kids feel unsafe. Kids need boundaries to feel safe, otherwise they don't know where they stand. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to feel. They don't know what is expected of them, and they really struggle to feel safe in their own home. So it's really creating the opposite effect that emotional parents are wanting. Let me tell you a story. They did a study and they made a playground in the middle of a big field. Now, this playground had no fence. Okay? It was just a playground, and all the kids, they stayed near the playground. And they didn't go all the way to the edge of the field. Why? There were no boundaries. Then what they did, they built a fence. all the way around the whole area. Now, what did the kids do? They played all the way to the edge on every side. They were safe. Because they had a boundary, they felt safe to explore within that boundary. Kids thrive when they are given safe, secure boundaries, and they really struggle in the absence of them. It's our job as parents to create good, quality boundaries. Boundaries are not cruel, but kind. Having rules isn't restrictive, it's freeing. And good consequences aren't hurting them, they're teaching them reality. These are some of the struggles we have if we are an emotional parent. Obviously, we don't need to switch our emotions off. It's a very important part of being human. But if we rely on our own emotions to teach our children, to train them, we're going to make some big mistakes. So the problem for an emotional parent, you need to look inwards to yourself. You need to look back at your childhood and you need to try and fix things and remedy those problems. We as parents don't want our weaknesses to then prevent our kids from gaining their strength. We want to heal ourselves and give the very best to our kids. You as the parent are a mirror. If you want a happy child, you need to be a happy parent. If you are an angry parent, expect an angry child. If you are a frustrated parent, expect a frustrated child. This is one of the biggest challenges of being a parent. They are just a little mirror. It's happened many times to myself. I'll see something that they're doing that I really don't like, and later that evening, I'll be thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I do that. They got it from me. Oh man. And I have to go away. I go for a walk, and I'm like, oh man, that's a bummer. That was my fault. And I take that responsibility. I fix myself, and I make sure that from now on, that's not who I am. Those are not the actions that I take in whatever, a frustrating situation, a difficult situation. So as parents, it's up to us. We need to strengthen ourselves in order to strengthen our children. I really hope this video has helped somebody today. If you have any questions, I'm going to put my email address in the description. Send me an email. We'll chat. I've got some stuff available. Let me know what you need. Any questions at all, stick it in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.